May I have your attention, please? The Maryland Aviation Administration, together with the Transportation Security Administration, are asking all BWI employees, customers, and patrons to join us in a 30-second moment of silence to acknowledge the 23rd anniversary of September 11, 2001. This moment of silence is dedicated to all those who made the ultimate sacrifice on this day, 23 years ago.
At this time, the TSA choir will sing the national anthem.
Hello, ready, ho! Ready, come! Raise that up! Come.
On September 11th, 2001, we tragically lost 2,997 innocent Americans to the deadliest attack on American soil. Terrorists hijacked 4 commercial airliners, crashing 2 into the World Trade Center in New York City, 1 in an open field in Shanksville, Pennsylvania, and finally 1 into the Pentagon. 184 people lost their lives in the attack on the Pentagon, of which 39 of Maryland's most selfless and dedicated residents perished. We honor their memory every September with a solemn ceremony as we remember. Let us not forget. At this time, please welcome Mike Dunn with the USO, Rick Thorne with MAA Security, and Dave Roski with the FBI. They will announce the names of the 39 Marylanders who lost their lives due to the tragic event of September 11th.
Blackburn from Temple Hills, Maryland. Department of the Army, Donna M. Bowen from Waldorf, Maryland. Department of the Army, Angeline C. Carter from Forestville, Maryland. From the U.S. government, Sharon A. Carter from Waldorf, Maryland. William E. Caswell from Silver Spring, Maryland. Sarah M. Clark from Columbia, Maryland. The U.S. government, Ada M. Davis from Camp Springs, Maryland. James D. DeNora from Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Charles Falkenberg, University Park, Maryland. Dana Falkenberg, University Park, Maryland. Zoe Falkenberg, University Park, Maryland. Navy Petty Officer, 3rd Class, Jamie L. Fallon from Towson, Maryland.
U.S. government employee, Gerald P. Fisher, Potomac, Maryland. Colonel, U.S. Army retired, Ronald F. Galinsky, Columbia, Maryland. American Airlines flight attendant, Michelle Heidenberger, Chevy Chase, Maryland. U.S. Army Staff Sergeant retired, Jimmy I. Holly, Lanham, Maryland. Department of the Navy, Angela M. Houtz, Rockville, Maryland. Department of the Army, Brenda Kegler, Capitol Heights, Maryland. United States Government, Samantha Lightborn Allen, Hillside, Maryland. Department of the Army, Shelley A. Marshall, Marbury, Maryland. American Airlines flight attendant, Renee A. May, Baltimore, Maryland. Department of the Navy, Gerald P. Moran, Jr., Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Tedepartment of the Army, Odessa V. Morris, Upper Marlboro, Maryland. Department of the Navy, Teddington H. Moy, Silver Spring, Maryland. Navy Lieutenant Darren H. Pontel, Columbia, Maryland.
Department of Defense, Scott Powell, Silver Spring, Maryland. Todd H. Rubin, Potomac, Maryland. Retired Army Sergeant Major Robert E. Russell, Oxon Hill, Maryland. Army Chief Warrant Officer William R. Ruth, Mount Airy, Maryland. Department of the Army, Antoinette M. Sherman, Forest Heights, Maryland. Hilda E. Taylor, Forestville, Maryland. Navy, Lieutenant Commander Ronald J. Vaughn, Mount Airy, Maryland. Leslie A. Whittington, University Park, Maryland. Department of the Army, Ernest M. Wilshire, North Potomac, Maryland. Retired Navy Chief Petty Officer Marvin Roger Woods, Great Mills, Maryland. Retired Navy Captain John D. Yamnicki, Waldorf, Maryland. Department of Defense, Edmund G. Young, Jr., Annapolis, Maryland. And Department of the Army, Lisa L. Young, Germantown, Maryland.
Thank you, Mike, Rick, and Dave, for recognizing our fallen Marylanders. We mark this day of remembrance by laying wreaths at the base of this memorial. At this time, retired Tech Sergeant Jerry White of the Maryland Air National Guard, along with the Maryland Transportation Authority Police, BWI Fire and Rescue, and the leadership from BWI Airport Community will place 3 wreaths at the memorial. The first wreath being laid is in honor of the fallen law enforcement officers by Maryland Transportation Authority Police and FBI.
Out of 10, go.
The second wreath being laid is to honor our fallen firefighters and rescue personnel by the BWI Fire and Rescue. The third and final wreath is being laid to honor our fallen military service members by the BWI leadership team, comprised of Transportation Security Administration, Federal Air Marshal Service, Maryland Aviation Administration, Customs and Border Protection, and the United Services Organization. This ceremony could not have taken place without Ms. Katz's diligence in making sure all the details were taken care of.
I want to thank everybody for being here. We love you. We care about our fallen victims that happened in 9/11. Thank you.
Do you remember what you were doing during 9/11?
I do. I was out on D7, Delta Pier, doing a walk around for Delta Airline. I was about to fly out to Chicago. And all of a sudden, all of the noise stopped from the aircraft, and someone told me, hey, a plane hit the tower.
Do you remember where you were during 9/11?
Yes, ma'am, I do. I was a tech sergeant on active duty at Martin State Airport in Baltimore. And after the Pentagon was hit, we were putting up barricades and watching the fence line.
Do you remember where you were during 9/11?
Yes, I do. I was actually a Federal Aviation Administration Special Agent, and I was away in Oklahoma City at their academy taking an explosives training. And myself and two of my colleagues were walking up the stairwell to go to the training room, and that's when the first plane hit, and everyone came running out of the classroom and down the hall and saying what happened. So we proceeded to go into the classroom. We're watching on a big screen TV. Again, I'm in a room full of special agents with the FAA about explosives training, and we're seeing this on TV. And then the second plane hit, and all of us, it was just, everyone, was just confused, didn't understand what was happening. It was just, it was just a time I will never forget.